Flashback. 2011. Holding the first ever model of the Kindle ebook reader in my hands. The house of innumerable science-related books, both fiction and non-fiction. A Brief History of Time by Stephen Hawking. The Necroscope series by Brian Lumley. All those books to come to the important realization we're eventually going to be dependent on science for survival. But wait, isn't scientific advancement bad in a certain sense? Especially if we use nuclear war to destroy our only source of life. No, there has to be ethical, scientific inquiry. A conceit towards the objective good, even if that means straying away from traditional religious ethics. We can see an acceleration of knowledge, and we could see it happening at an accelerating rate. This all came to me when I was sitting at this menial security job, underwhelmed, just blown away at all the things that people have done through history to get us where we are now. That's about when I decided that I wanted to become a physicist. I desperately wanted to be a part of that movement into the future. But the catch there was I needed to go to college. That was the main, but not the only obstacle. Nevertheless, I was very passionate, and for a long time, that was my goal. I had to audit and figure out what it was going to take to get where I wanted to be. Before that time, I knew that going to college was somewhat fruitless. As before then, I didn't know what I wanted to be. I would just be taking all these classes with no end game. Yet a lot of people do this. They go to college because they were told to. Back in high school, it was always the difference between success and failure, as if the only possible divide was a college education. In school, the only knowledge that was valuable was the kind that was going to make you money. That's the problem with universities, because even if a college degree guarantees a steady income, the prosperity as foretold in high school, it costs way more than a steady income to get there. And then you have the attitude that most college students have. It took me a couple years to catch up in my math classes to even be eligible to be a physics major. And once I was there, I was surrounded by these other STEM majors, most of which were uninterested in the course material or the learning they were receiving. They were only there for that eventual paycheck they'd get for being an engineer. And what happened? Well, most people in my class were cheating. It was rather disconcerting to see the future of humanity structures in the hands of these people. But I was self-righteous. I was valuing the knowledge in itself, going deeper and spending more time to understand the problems from a historical perspective. But all that resulted in consistent failure too, and I ended up cheating myself. Still, it broke my heart to go to that point, because I knew there was a difference between those green-eyed engineers and a person like me who was interested in the inherent knowledge of the physics field. Someone who had a love and passion for it and wasn't just trying to make a bunch of money. I should also mention that I don't think it's wrong to desire the things that colleges offer, only that universities should foster an earnestness for learning over profit. There's a problem there. For instance, could you imagine going to an anarchy school where you take classes at a college level that aren't accredited or recognized by most universities? I guess there's a difference too when you just plain can't afford college. But to me, it seems like there are aspects of universities that seem to be in contradiction to the pursuit of a higher knowledge. Eventually, after a couple years, I found my pursuit of becoming a physicist not to be very cost effective. Yet those engineering majors I talked about earlier went on unimpeded. Part of me still feels like because of the amount of passion that I had, I shouldn't have been deterred from my courses. There should have been something to help me go forward, but there wasn't. And the entire time, people were telling me it was just because I didn't have a natural aptitude for mathematics, that I should have gone to university for English or philosophy. And yeah, I still feel responsible for having to contribute to humanity's body of knowledge. But right now, I decided that it would be better for me to do it in other ways. Perhaps with the books that I write, or with these fried philosophy videos. And maybe with a better income, I could revisit the physics thing in the future. In the meantime, I kind of love that I abandoned physics and went on to write science fiction. But ultimately, I'm so tired of people being raised to hear things like, if you don't go to college, you're doomed. You're an utter failure. But what do you all think? Do you feel like college could actually prevent the pursuit of learning? What should we tell high school kids about college in a way that's honest yet helpful? If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. Here are some other videos from this series. And if you're interested in taking our relationship to the next level, please check out my website in the link below to get yourself a copy of some of the books I've written. This is Ryan Starbloke, and I implore you to have a good day.